When we are talking about shapes, there are two very important words that we can use to describe relationships between shapes. The first word is called congruent, and congruent is used with this symbol. You'll notice that it's an equal sign, and then on the top there's this little line that you'll see again down here. Congruent is used to describe two shapes that are not only the same shape, but they're also the exact same size. For example, these two triangles are congruent. It's just that this one has been rotated a little bit. But these shapes are exactly the same. This side would be the exact same length as this side the same length as this side, and this side the same length as this side. In addition, all of the angles would match. This angle would be the same as this angle, and this angle would be the same as this angle, and this final angle would be the same as this final angle. Everything about these two shapes is identical. The word similar is used when we see that the shape is the same, but they have different size. So, for example, this triangle and this triangle are the same shape. They're both right triangles, but you can tell that they are different sizes. So these sides would not match. However, their angles would match. That's the great thing about angles. This angle would be the same as this one, and this angle would be the same as this one, and this angle would be the same as this one. Corresponding parts of congruent shapes are congruent. So here are two quadrilaterals, and this one is labeled A, B, C, D. This one is labeled R, S, T, U. And shapes that are congruent have congruent parts, meaning this length AB, which is written like this, segment AB, is congruent to which side over here? Well, here's a real easy way to do it. You could actually ignore the diagrams entirely and use the list of letters. AB must match RS. And I look on the shape and it is true. And I can continue in that pattern. BC must match ST. Line segment BC matches line segment ST. And CD must match TU, must match or is congruent to TU. And the final one, you should have 4, since there are 4 sides to this shape, would be AD matching RU. AD is congruent to RU. And I can look and see AD is this side and RU is this side, and I can tell that those are congruent. The other part of this is that corresponding angles are congruent. So in the same way that I just did, angle A is congruent to angle R, and it looks like this. This is the symbol for angle. A is congruent to angle R. Angle B is congruent to S, C and T, D and U. I'd like you to finish out this list. There should be a total of 4 angles being congruent to 4 other angles. Because we know that because we know that congruent shapes have corresponding sides and angles, we can use that to solve problems. So in this problem, I'm being asked to find the measure of angle S. Well, here's angle S right here. And here it is in the list. And so what does angle S match? What is angle S congruent to? You can see right here it's congruent to angle K, which is this right here. If I can figure out what the measure of angle K is, then I'll also know what the measure of angle S is because they are congruent. So we know that triangles have a total of 180 degrees inside them. And I see that right now I have a total of 31 and 25, which is 56 degrees. And the whole total of this inside must be 180. So I'm going to subtract to find out how much is missing. And I can find that this missing angle is 124 degrees. If I added those three numbers up, I would get 180. And since angle K is 124 degrees, that must mean that angle S is 124 degrees. So my answer, the measure of angle S, is 124 degrees. Now here's a question about, are these shapes similar? And the way that we figure out if shapes are similar is we write a comparison of their corresponding sides. Now, if these were similar, I should be able to write a series of ratios, 3 and 6. So this shortest side to the shortest side, and 4 to 8, and the longest side to the longest side, 5 to 12. And so now I'm going to check to see if this is a true statement. Well, 3 over 6 is 1/2. 4 over 8 is 1/2, and 5 over 12, oh, no, that does not work. These shapes are not similar. If this had been a 10, then I would have been able to say yes, because I would have had 5 over 10, which is also 1/2, but it wasn't. So are these shapes similar? No. Here's another chance for us to test if we understand this similar. I've got two TVs that look similar. I am going to write the ratios first to see if they are the short side to the short side. So 18 over 30 and 24 to 40. And to see if these are similar, I'm going to go ahead and reduce them. Let's see, I can divide both of these by 6. That would give me 3 over 5. And let's see, I can reduce these. I can divide both of these by 6. Nope, I can't divide both of these by 6. What else? Maybe 4? Let's see, if I divide this by 4, I'm going to get 6 over 10. Oh, I can keep going. I can divide both of these by 2, which will be 3 over 5. Oh, I can see that yes, these are similar. And the question here, what is the ratio? The ratio is 3 to 5, or we could write it as we have, 3 to 5, or we could write it like this. The ratio is 3 to 5. And here we have a challenge. I've given you two shapes, and I'm letting you know that these are similar. So I'm trying to find the length of DF, which is this length right here. And I'm going to go ahead and mark it on my letter list. DF must match SU. Where is SU? All right, there it is. Now the problem is that these are not the same size, so I can't just say, well, since this is 35, this is also 35. I'm going to go ahead and set up a proportion. And I know that this is going to be my missing piece. So let's start with SU, which is 35. And I know that SU is the same as this missing piece that I'm trying to find. And then here's the other information that I have. I know that ST is 45. ST is 45, and ST is going to be similar to DE. I can see that from my letter list, and DE is 36. Here's a proportion I would like you to finish solving. You can either use cross product, or you might be able to reduce this and find a relationship. Here is a game for sorting shapes that are either similar or congruent. See what you can get out of 10. tinyurl.com/carnes simcong for similar and congruent.